negotiations to end the Russia-Ukraine war. Here's White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt.
The president spoke to President Putin of Russia. They spoke at length, and the president released a statement following that conversation in great detail. I can also confirm that the president just recently got off the phone with President Zelensky.
ABC News reports that several top American officials will be involved in those talks, including Secretary of State Marco Rubio. Your money at this moment, the Dow is down 203 points, the S&P down 11. The NASDAQ, though, is up 35. Coming up, the cold before the storm. KSL weather is next. KSL News Time 102.
A reminder about the simplest way to get updated for your day.
Hit your KSL preset when you jump in the car, and we'll take care of the rest.
Hear key news updates and traffic reports.
Andy and Amanda from 5 to 9 in your car.
KSL News Radio at 102.7 FM.
Bish's is skipping this year's big RV show for a big reason. It costs each dealer a fortune, and guess who gets stuck with the bill? Yep, you. So skip the big show expense and come to the Bish's RV Better Than Show Pricing on-site event, February 13th through the 15th at Bish's RV of Salt Lake and American Fork. You'll get free admission, free parking, and better than show pricing on our entire inventory at both locations. Not just a few models we hauled to the show. Find pricing starting as low as $139 per month on approved credit and make 0 payments until May OAC. Plus, every remaining new 2024 on the lot is on clearance. And Bish's is the only place to shop the exclusive full lineup of Wayfinder RVs. Start shopping the best deals now at skipthervshow.com. Get free admission to the Better Than Show Pricing on-site event, February 13th through the 15th at Bish's RV in Salt Lake and American Fork, where memories begin. OAC, based on 20% down, 8.99% APR for 180 months. Stock numbers 84832, 84308. Subject to prior sale. See delivery details. DL number 822B426B.
This is Derek Overstreet of the New Millennium Group and host of Stop Working and Start Living Radio. If you're close to or in retirement and you don't have a tax plan, call us right now, 888-999-6370. That's 888-999-6370. Listen, our country's been spending like never before, and the tax bill is coming soon. If you need an income tax strategy and a financial plan that will get you through the rest of your life, give my team a call, 888-999-6370. That's 888-999-6370. If you want an investment plan that allows you to keep more of your gains and pay less taxes, give us a call, 888-999-6370. My team specializes in the type of plan that will get you retired 3 to 5 years sooner than you thought possible. So, get a no-cost tax analysis by calling 888-999-6370. That's 888-999-6370. My team is standing by now.
It's the Advanced Window Products President's Day sale. If the cold is seeping in through your old windows, Advanced Window Products will install state-of-the-art double-pane windows with insulated frames. Your home will take on an exciting new look, and you're going to save on your heating bill. And not for nothing, your air conditioning in summer, and right now with the President's Day sale, you save $2,500 off 10 windows or more. For 38 years, Advanced Windows has been building beautiful custom windows and frames right here in Utah. There's no middleman, so you save. So keep out the cold, cut down your energy bills, and save $2,500 with one call to Advanced Window Products. 801-850-9100. An expert comes out for a no-pressure consultation. They'll tell you about the payment plans, including no payments for 24 months. The Advanced Window Products President's Day sale. Get $2,500 off. Call 801-850-9100. That's 801-850-9100. Or just go to advancedwindows.com.
Traffic and weather together brought to you by Mountain America's limited time balance transfer bonus. Here's Ricky Meese.
We have a KSL listener reporting an accident in Draper involving 2 semis. This is going to be just to the side of I-15 at 146 South. I can definitely see backups in the area going eastbound and northbound. If you're at I-15 and Minuteman Drive, that's about 146 South. And Minuteman just runs east of the freeway. Teens can get up to $200 with a Teen Learn and Earn account, plus continue earning rewards as they master the essentials of finance. More at cypresscu.com/teen. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
A cold day today where the high will only reach the low 30s. Tomorrow, a storm will roll through the state and bring snow and rain, and that's expected to last through Saturday. Right now, it's partly cloudy and 32 degrees. I'm Heather Peterson from the KSL Calm and Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at KSLNewsRadio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Inside Sources.
Inside Sources.
A new presidency, new state leaders, and a new legislative session. Utah's top political experts discuss the day's biggest stories. Only on KSL News Radio.
It's a war on waste. That's how Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene described the focus of the first ever DOGE subcommittee meeting this morning. It comes as Elon Musk defends the efforts and actions of DOGE, and as Democrats call for Musk to testify under oath about the Department of Government Efficiency. Welcome to Inside Sources. I'm your co-host today, Rusty Cannon, here with Taylor Morgan. Taylor is the managing partner at Morgan May Public Affairs, and I am with the Utah Credit Union Association. We are going to get into some of the state politics in a bit, but first, Taylor, we're going to start talking about this morning's DOGE subcommittee hearing, and then some action that was going on at the White House yesterday.
Yeah, did you catch this press conference in the Oval Office yesterday, Rusty?
I didn't see it live, but I caught the snippets, and I was just smiling ear to ear watching it.
So I've never seen anything like this. Donald Trump is sitting at the Resolute desk in the Oval Office there, looking up at Elon Musk, who is standing next to the desk, flanked by his young son.
Yeah.
Elon is wearing a T-shirt and a baseball cap. A Make America Great Again baseball cap,
of course.
Yeah. Just speaking, kind of a rambling flow of consciousness to the press in attendance in the Oval Office. It was quite the spectacle.
Yeah.
Really interesting. Had some things to say that have kicked off quite a firestorm.
Yeah, he talked a lot about what they're doing, and he faced questions from reporters. It was a very transparent act, I thought, and I thought it was good. Let's listen to one thing that he said yesterday at the White House.
There are good people who are in the federal bureaucracy, but you can't have an autonomous federal bureaucracy. You have to have one that is responsive to the people. That's the whole point of a democracy.
So the key word I heard there was autonomous, and he explained it. There's a lot more that he said, and people can certainly go back and look. He posted it on his Twitters. It's out there. I guess I'm supposed to say X now, but explaining what he said, where he just talked about the whole process of needing a good feedback loop to where the people elect their representatives, those representatives and that government then implements policies, and they should have that feedback to make sure it's being run efficiently, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
And after hearing what he said, I thought, well, that makes total sense. I don't see a lot of, cracks in that armor. I don't see how pressure against that is really going to be effective.
Well, I think there are some criticisms, and some of them I think are fair. People are concerned about Elon Musk's scope and scale of influence in power, given that he's not an elected official of any kind. He hasn't really been appointed or confirmed to anything through the constitutional process. He's clearly running DOGE, but doing it under the authority of the executive branch, President Donald Trump. But this is something completely new. We've never seen anything like this before, Rusty. And so I think it's important that we make sure that he's not doing anything that is outside the bounds of constitutional powers. I do think that's important. So I have no problem with people challenging or criticizing that, just as he is going after waste in government. And as much as you want to criticize how this is happening and who's doing it, I have to say, Rusty, the information that is coming out about government waste, it's fascinating.
It's not only fascinating, it's entertaining.
This is why Donald Trump is such a transformational and polarizing political figure. He is not ever going to do things just the same way they've always been done. That I believe is why he won the popular vote and the Electoral College, right? We want change. We're desperate for it, and we're willing to put up with some shenanigans along the way if we can get change.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of color comes along with this. That's just the way that Elon Musk operates, and certainly the way the president rolls along. The part that I just started chuckling about, and maybe, I don't know if you caught this, was the stuff about mines.
Oh.
I never thought of that. I was shocked. So if listeners didn't know this, so Elon Musk brought this up yesterday. So he asked the question of, this is the quote. He said, "We were told the most number of people that could retire possibly in a month, speaking of government workers, is 10,000. Because all the retirement paperwork is written down on a piece of paper, then it goes down a mine." Yeah. I first heard that. What is he talking about? He's literally talking about
mine.
Your paperwork goes in a mine.
200 feet below ground
Yes.
in the Iron Mountain Secure Document Facility in Pennsylvania.
Yes, and they carry paperwork essentially by hand, manila envelopes, 2 boxes in a mine, back and forth, going from cavern to cavern. Apparently there's 600 to 700 employees that work 230 feet underground to process, not to store. I could see storing it there for safety reasons, but to process your paperwork. It's literally down in a mine.
Hard copies.
Yes.
Rusty, here in the KSL News Radio studio, you have hard copy printouts of
you make fun
articles on the internet, and I give you a hard time about that every time you do it, because in today's day and age, it's a little bit silly to be printing everything out and dealing with hard copies because it's all digital.
Yes. How in today's world are we not scanning? I mean, I could take out my phone and take a picture of this paper in front of me, turn it into a PDF in seconds, and then email it to you or text it to you in a heartbeat.
That's right.
This is not only holding up retirement benefits for the people that are retiring, but it bottlenecks and makes it so apparently, we can't do more than 10,000 because you got to walk the paper through the different caverns in the mine. I honestly couldn't believe it when I heard it.
Yeah.
This has been confirmed by news sources. This is real. This is where the paperwork is. It's a limestone mine where this is not just stored but processed. The U.S. government started storing records in that facility in the 1960s. It is still used today.
And the federal government did invest over $100 million of taxpayer money just in the last few years, Rusty, to try to modernize the process, but ultimately concluded that they couldn't quite do it. And so
how is that possible?
We're back to manual paper, like signatures, holographic. Rusty, it's
like Harry Potter. What was the mine?
Gringotts.
It's like Gringotts mine. It's literally down there, like moving paper around in a cart.
Do you think dwarves are doing it?
I hope not, but I mean, it's just the point being. That's ridiculous. Those are the types of things that if we're just now discovering, or at least bringing them to light, this was public knowledge, but maybe not widely known. I didn't know about it until now. What is wrong with discovering these types of things and then just seeking to improve them? If we have 700 people working there, why not reduce it to a computerized system with 30 people?
Well,
and you'd be able to retire faster.
Put in data banks. Everything is done with data centers now. Everything is stored in the cloud. There has to be a better way to do this. And I want to be clear, for the record, I was not calling the good workers at the Iron Mountain facility goblins or dwarves or Lord of the Rings.
I didn't think
or
you were.
Harry Potter. I wasn't calling anybody names, just making a dumb joke there, Rusty.
No, I understood. And so to the point of that whole episode yesterday in the White House, I think, and maybe we'll talk about this on a later segment, I think the pushback against this process, I think it kind of falls on deaf ears with the American people. We're going to talk later about some approval ratings of what President Trump and his administration is doing. You'd be quite surprised at how positive. These numbers really surprised me when they came out on Monday. All right, next on Inside Sources, our special coverage of Utah's legislative session is going to continue with looks at housing and state sovereignty and constitutional amendments. That begins after the break.
The newest part of your morning, and still so familiar.
When you wake up and listen to a radio show, it's like you're a part of a family. You're listening in on people you know, and it's magnificent that Andy Farnsworth is sitting in the chair because he's someone we know.
Utah's Morning News. Andy Farnsworth joins Amanda Dixon to bring you important news in the car. 5 to 9 on KSL News Radio.
If you're turning 65, new to Medicare, or recently moved, a Humana Medicare Advantage plan might be a great fit for you. You could get a plan with a $0 premium, like our Humana Medicare Advantage PPO plan. Plus, all our plans have a yearly cap on your out-of-pocket costs. That means your covered medical costs, including all doctor visits and emergency care, will never go above a maximum out-of-pocket amount that you know beforehand. You can even get prescription drug coverage on some plans, all for a $0 premium each month. All of this can make a difference for your health and your wallet. Make the most of each day by choosing a Medicare Advantage PPO plan that puts you first. Learn more at gethumana.com. Humana, a more human way to healthcare. Humana is a Medicare Advantage PPO organization with a Medicare contract. Enrollment in any Humana plan depends on contract renewal.
Saving for retirement was tough enough for us.
Yes, and navigating markets can be challenging at times.
I understand. That's why at Fisher Investments, we take a disciplined approach with your investments.
Tell us more about that.
We take an active approach to money management, positioning your portfolio for opportunities we see ahead.
So all your clients get the same portfolio?
No, we tailor your portfolio to your individual goals and needs.
What about communication? We don't like being left in the dark.
We check in regularly to keep you informed on the markets and your portfolio.
Which means you'll help us stay on track.
Yes, our goal is your comfortable retirement. And as a fiduciary, we always put your interests first, because we do better when you do better. At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss. Thanks for calling Discover. This is Nia.
Hi, Nia. It's Jennifer. Did you know that Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Yeah, I work here.
Okay. I was just double checking. Get it?
Because Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Oh, you get me, Nia.
You could say that I double get you.
I guess we've taken it too far.
You earn, we match. Discover Cashback Match. See terms at discover.com/creditcard.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my side softer?
Can I make my side firmer? Can we sleep cooler? Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. And now save 50% on the new Sleep Number limited edition smart bed. Plus free home delivery when you add a base. Ends Monday. Exclusively at a Sleep Number store near you. Learn more at sleepnumber.com.
Boy, right after the holidays, everyone needs a little cash, right?
Oh, yes.
We have great news for you. Right now, UCCU, Utah Community Credit Union, will pay you for your auto loan and credit balances. So all you have to do is just transfer your auto loan or your credit card balance to UCCU. And on top of giving you a low interest rate, which will save you money, UCCU will give you 1% cash back up to $250 on every loan you transfer.
Amanda, as soon as I heard about this, I said, I'm in this exact situation. I transferred. I actually had to have 2 loans to get my car a year ago.
Yeah.
Long story. Got it consolidated into one, and they paid me 1% back for each thing. I've got 1 payment now instead of 2. It's so much easier, and it took me maybe basically an hour. I just went straight to the website. I applied. They said, you got to send me these documents. I did, and all of a sudden, within a couple of days, I had it all set.
This is how easy they are to work with, always looking for ways to help you and your family. You can find out more on the UCCU mobile banking app or just go to uccu.com/transfer. Utah Community Credit Union. You're going to love where you bank.
KSL offers the best daily newsletter in the state. It's the 3 things you need to know. Every weekday, we deliver quality and relevant content to your inbox. No ads, no spam, just the 3 things you need to know to be informed about the world around you. Subscribe today. Visit KSLNewsRadio.com or text the word inbox to 57500. That's inbox to 57500.
Getting help with electrical repairs is easier than you think. All you have to do is call Any Hour Services or schedule an appointment at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
At Trio Senior Living, older adults aren't slowing down. They're just getting started. The Prime Fit Wellness Program expands wellness beyond the gym into every aspect of community life. Whatever your goals, the team at Trio Senior Living has got your back, so you can put your best foot forward. Call 801-475-4004 today to schedule your personal visit.
Inside Sources. Inside Sources on KSL News Radio.
Eye on the Hill 2025. Special coverage on Inside Sources.
We've now passed the halfway point. Rusty, officially almost halfway done with the 45-day legislative general session.
Wait, you said almost. Are we there or are we not?
Well,
aren't we there today at like noon?
Is it today? Well,
Well, we're close.
Well,
We'll
I
just
think
say
we're
we're close.
Yeah,
Okay.
Rusty, I guess. I'm a little hesitant to commit, Rusty, because it is the longest session ever. I don't know if you feel the same way as I do. You and I both. Taylor Morgan here hosting with Rusty Cannon. Rusty Cannon and I both spend a lot of time this time of year at the state capitol working with lawmakers during the session.
If we can find a parking spot.
If we can find a parking spot. And it has just been a very grinding, slow-moving session so far, Rusty.
Yeah.
A lot of things are yet to happen, but we're halfway through.
Yeah. Yeah, as you know, the first, 3 weeks, you have appropriations hearings in the morning where they go through in a budget. That's a process that is important, but it's not unless you're directly involved in it, you sort of just watch it go by. And that takes that first 3 weeks, so it drags it on a little bit. Now we're about to get into more of the prime time where all the standing committees meet, not only in the afternoons but also in the morning.
Yeah.
Right? So you have a lot more action, more floor time, more committee. Just stuff starts moving faster and faster and faster to where it really picks up to where, I mean, you don't ignore the first few weeks, but it's just a different first few weeks to where now you got to have your ducks in a row. You have to worry about bills getting moving, or they run the risk of not making it past the finish line.
Yeah, and we are expecting to be joined by a representative to talk about some of her incredible legislation.
Yes.
I believe she is just stepping out of some meetings, and obviously will be with us as soon as possible. But in the meantime, Rusty, I want to talk a little bit about the budget.
Yeah.
Many final subcommittees approved budgets this morning. What are we hearing? What do you know about the latest with the budget in terms of tax cuts, the governor's recommendation or priority to remove income tax on Social Security benefits? What do you know to be the latest information on the budget?
You know, as far as I know, the same line is being repeated where they've used this term before, the socks and underwear years, where, hey, there's really not a lot of new money to go around. You need to live with the budget you have. And that's where those subcommittees go through and just kind of cross their T's, dot their I's, and make sure that, you know, budgets aren't getting out of control, and they sort of review and approve things. Then it moves up the chain, and then we move forward from there.
Yeah. Well, I'm so excited to welcome to the show to talk about her work in this session at Utah's Capitol. State Representative Carol Spackman Moss is with us now. Representative Moss, do we have you?
Yes, you do. Hello. Hello.
Hello. Thanks so much for taking a few minutes to join us. We know how busy you are. We want to talk about your housing loan fund amendments. I believe the Olene Walker Housing Loan Fund Amendments is a bill that you are running this session. Tell us about this bill. Housing is always a hot issue, a priority. What does Olene Walker have to do with housing, Representative Moss?
Well, Taylor, I'm so happy to have a chance to talk about this. It's House Bill 286, and it's a really innovative way of looking at finding funding for housing, low-income housing in particular, and that's what this is focused on. And using that Olene Walker Housing Loan Fund, which was set up many years ago, and now has really no money at all. It's never had a dedicated funding stream. And so what we're looking to do here is to take the some of the liquor profits in Utah. The profits of alcohol are growing every year, and we have more and more tourists coming that help support that and add to that, and we're going to have the Olympics. And so this is one area of funding that is growing. So the money goes into the general fund, and there are some things that have been in place for a long time, school lunch and other things that are important. But we're asking for just 25% of this allocation, and it is scalable too, that we could build single-family housing for households earning 30 to 80% of AMI, and in addition, 60% allocated to multifamily housing for those earning AMI below 40%, and that would be rental. But the critical thing here in Utah is to get people into housing, and particularly if they're working people, they work hard but can never see their way to home ownership at this point. These are people we're aiming at that say both parents work and they want a permanent place for their family. These are the people, many of them are the workers, that work in our restaurants and in the tourist industry that deserve to have affordable housing. And so that's what this bill would do.
Okay, so Representative, if we understand correctly, your bill would peel a little bit more money off of this revenue stream from liquor sales and divert them into this into housing through the Olene Walker Housing Fund. After that happens, what type of projects might it fund? Would that be done by the private market, or would this be a government type of project for housing?
Well, let me just tell you who my advocates are and those folks that came to me and that I'm working with. One is Habitat for Humanity. The other is the Housing Coalition, Tara Rollins, who's worked with them for years, that organization. And the other person is Steve Erickson, who's worked in this arena for decades. And so what we're looking at I've seen one of the projects in Kearns that Habitat for Humanity did, and it's just amazing. 20 homes, affordable homes, and families that might, some are refugees, immigrants, would never maybe be able to get enough money together for a down payment, now have low interest loans and a place to live. And then, so it would be townhomes. These are smaller homes, small homes on small lots, townhomes and condos. And that's who we're targeting. And then the multifamily would be, rental. But again, these are folks, many of them who are currently homeless, and they even have jobs, but would have reasonable rent. Right now, it's hard to find even an affordable rental place for a lot of people.
Yeah.
So I think the key here is, in this country, to build equity is the way we built wealth. And back after the war, you won't remember this, but if you remember your history, the VA loans offered to returning veterans from World War II probably put over 1 million people into housing that couldn't have afforded it. And that really created the middle class in this country. And I think we're back at a place where the private sector has not done well in terms of low interest or affordable housing, and the prices have just gone up. So those who say let the private sector drive it, well, ideally that would be nice, but it's not happening.
Yeah.
The homes have gotten more expensive. So this is a government program, but from revenue that isn't going to take away from anybody else.
Yeah.
You see, this isn't like the sales tax. This isn't the taxpayers. This is money that goes into the general fund. And like I said, it's scalable. We're asking 25%, but we could go down to 20%. I mean, we want to see this bill move forward, and then we can negotiate the amount of funding. But that's what it does. I'm really excited about it. We've just gotten a lot of positive feedback from folks.
Representative Moss, really, thank you so much for joining us.
Best
wishes to you on this. If you don't know Representative...
And it was happy birthday yesterday.
Happy birthday yesterday.
Thank you. Is that Rusty? I'm talking
is.
to you?
That's Rusty.
Remember your birthday.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank
Representative
you so much.
Moss was an educator for nearly 30 years. Rusty, 33 years. She has been in the legislature for 24 years. First elected in 2000, took office in 2001. Rusty, there is no one who has worked harder for the people of Utah than Representative Carol Spackman Moss. Thank you for your time and all your work, Representative.
Thank you so much. A pleasure. Thank you for having me on. Bye now.
She's just the best, Rusty.
She's awesome.
She's wonderful. If you ever have a chance to meet with Representative Moss, you should take it. Well, later this afternoon, a legislative committee will hear about a joint resolution reaffirming Utah's sovereignty. We'll get a preview from the bill sponsor next.
Good afternoon. It's 1:30 at KSL News Radio. I'm Maria Chaleos. KSL's top story this hour. Police say 2 adults have been taken to the hospital in serious condition after a shooting near 3860 Birmingham Drive in West Valley City. One person has been detained for questioning. 10 schools in the Granite School District were placed under secure protocol due to the police presence in the area. All 10 have since returned to their regularly scheduled school day. We do have a reporter on the scene in West Valley and will continue to bring you the latest. Our top national story this hour. A volcano in Hawaii is shooting lava over 300 feet into the air.
Kilauea, which has been erupting sporadically for the last couple of months, is once again spewing lava, shooting it up into the air. Kilauea is one of the world's most active volcanoes. This time it's mainly only a show. No homes are in danger. Lava flow is on the floor of a crater, but a vent shot lava about 330 feet into the air. It's the 9th eruptive episode since December 23rd. The site has visitors gathering now at Volcanoes National Park to get a glimpse. Alex Stone, EBC News.
Your money at this moment, the Dow losing more ground, now down 262 points, which is more than 0.5%. It sits at 44,332. S&P down by 17. The NASDAQ is up, though, by 21 points. Get ready for more stormy weather. We'll check the forecast coming up next. KSL News Time, 1:32.
The sources where we get our news matters.
When you listen to Utah's Morning News, we want you to feel the stories are important to you and trustworthy. This is Amanda Dixon.
And I'm Andy Farnsworth. Join us weekday mornings on KSL News Radio.
You bought a house, or maybe you're building one, but it just isn't feeling like home. Not yet. AMC Building Materials has this undeniable knack for transforming a house into a home, your home. How do they do that? They combine years of exceptional kitchen and bath creations with your ideas. In fact, customer satisfaction is their #1 priority. You know what you want. You know it's not going to be cookie cutter. And this is exactly where AMC shines. AMC delivers exceptional quality, bold-style kitchen and bath designs, along with their exceptional value and a timeline you'll love. Most projects are complete by the elite AMC professional installers in under 10 days. Immerse yourself in the beauty, function, and feel in person at the AMC Building Materials showroom in Salt Lake City. Get directions and schedule your free estimate at amckitchenslc.org. AMC Building Materials, transforming your house into a home. amckitchenslc.org.
Jackson Hewitt makes taxes feel like a yacht rock song.
April breeze, give me my biggest tax refund, please. You, me, and a lifetime accuracy guarantee.
And now get $100 just to try Jackson Hewitt. Does your tax person do that?
Say goodbye to that no guarantee tax guy.
Ready to sail through tax season? Go to Jackson Hewitt and you'll be... Limited time offer for new clients. Participating locations only. Terms at jacksonhewitt.com.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my side softer?
Can I make my side firmer?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. And now save 50% on the new Sleep Number limited edition smart bed. Plus free home delivery. Ends President's Day. Exclusively to Sleep Number store near you. Learn more at sleepnumber.com.
There she is, founder and CEO. High five.
Dave can't stop celebrating with every business owner in town.
All right, Baker Man, high five.
He's sharing the excitement of big savings with the Comcast Business 5-year price lock guarantee.
Ooh, up top, Bike Shop. Yeah.
It's 5 years of gig speed internet.
Quick, high five.
5 years of advanced security.
5 years.
And 5 years of a great rate that won't change.
Yeah, law partners. Chamberlain, Messelthorpe, Dubois.
All from the company with 99.9% network reliability. Switch today and get the 5-year price lock guarantee.
5 years.
It's back, but only for a limited time.
Woo!
Powering 5 years of savings, powering possibilities. Comcast Business.
Can't forget you, voiceover guy.
Ah, thanks, Dave.
High five.
Ends 3/9/25. Guaranteed rate applies to monthly service charge for new customers on qualifying internet bundle, excluding taxes and fees. Other restrictions apply.
Traffic and weather together. It's brought to you by Mountain America's limited time balance transfer bonus. Ricky, what's happening?
We've had an accident on the East Belt. This is at I-215's east side at 3300 South. It's actually at 33rd South to go westbound and connect to I-215, but out of traffic on the shoulder. And then we also have a crash. This is westbound 90th South near 40th West in West Jordan. The Murdoch Auto Team is celebrating 100 years of winter journeys at Murdoch Chevrolet. Right now, take up to $6,250 off a new 2024 Equinox. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Taking a look at the forecast for the Wasatch Front, boy, it is mighty chilly. We've already reached the high for today. We're sitting at 30 degrees. Tomorrow, though, that chance of showers moves back in. 60% chance tomorrow with a 90% chance on Friday. Again, 30 degrees, mostly cloudy in downtown Salt Lake City. I'm Maria Shilaos from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're your Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Inside Sources.
Inside Sources.
A new presidency, new state leaders, and a new legislative session. Utah's top political experts discuss the day's biggest stories. Only on KSL News Radio.
Eye on the Hill 2025. Special coverage on Inside Sources.
One of the unique aspects of the United States is the prevalence and importance of federalism. Some powers belong to the federal government, and some power belongs to the states. Federalism has led to disagreements between the states and the federal government many, many times, including here in Utah. A new Senate joint resolution on Capitol Hill addresses this relationship. It'll be heard in committee in just about an hour or so, but we're getting a preview right here and now from its sponsor, State Senator Wayne Harper. Senator, thanks for joining the show today.
Hey, you're welcome. I'm glad to be with you.
So it's always fun. Taylor, we know Senator Harper well. He is a trusted source up there. In fact, if you want a tour of a historical site, I think he is probably one of the best people out there.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
It's history, Constitution, that type of stuff. Senator Harper, it's my understanding you are really good at that.
I do enjoy giving tours and showing everybody the little unknown spots that make history great in our state and our country wonderful.
Well, you're a perfect person to put forward this joint resolution. Tell listeners what this is. This has to do with federalism and the relationship between the federal government and the states, and a little known, well, maybe it's more widely known, Supreme Court decision known as Loper-Bright.
Yes. You know, a number of years ago, the Supreme Court stated that the 10th Amendment serves to allay fears that the new national government might seek to exercise powers not granted to it, and that the states might not be able to exercise fully their reserved power. So the 10th Amendment is very, very critical. And what I really appreciate with the Loper-Bright decision, which is Loper-Bright Enterprises versus Raymundo, went through and re-established the principle of federalism that was lost by the Chevron decision many, many years ago. And that really goes through, and that federal canon requires courts to presume that the federal law does not preempt state law because of the sovereignties of the states enjoyed under the United States Constitution. That is really critical, recognizing the fact that the states are really the local laboratories of democracy, represent the people, and the United States government has certain delineated, delegated powers, and that's the way our Constitution was set up.
Senator Harper, we know, of course, that Utah has long fought or pushed back against the federal government on many fronts. A long history of that here in Utah, of course. Utah stands out nationally with 70% of our land here in Utah that is owned by the federal government. What impact, if any, could reasserting our sovereignty have on some of these historical ongoing battles when it comes to federalism?
You know, we don't know fully the impacts and benefits of the Loper-Bright decision and what the Supreme Court has reinstituted, but we do know the fact that not just Utah, but other states are saying, hey, wait a minute, we've lost control over some of our lands. We've got the federal government coming in and telling us what to do, not rightfully. So you're going to see a number of bills in this session, not here, but you can go look at Louisiana, at Kansas, at North and South Dakota, at Oklahoma, and other states that are doing very similar things. Because really one of the key things we're doing is that we are now, under Loper-Bright, we're going to prevent the unjustified intrusions into state sovereignty, and we're going to ask, in this resolution, ask our state agencies to look internally and see what they have been doing wrong based on federal mandates that
Sorry
are now
to
being going to
cut
be
in there,
reversed.
Senator, but I want to jump in on this because can you give us an example of one of these incidents of unconstitutional federal overreach? I think that's an important point, and it'd be helpful for our listeners, I think, to have an example of that.
Okay, I think you'll take a look at. We want to have clean air, clean water, things like that. But specifically, if you go back and see the EPA regulations that we've adopted in the state of Utah, they had the air standards of PM10. We went through and met those. Then they said that was not good enough. We want you to go through and shut down or close the point source, not the mobiles, so get rid of your power plants and your coal-fired plants. We fought back on that. They changed the standards to 2.5, PM 2.5. That wasn't good enough. Then they said, well, now you've got to do NOx, VOx, SOx, all those other, gaseous things. We tried to do that. We got in compliance, and they said, that's not good enough. You have to do ozone. It's never enough, and it seems like the federal government wants to shut down our economy, and that's this is a clear statement. We're done. We're going to handle, make sure things are clean, but stop changing the rules at the cost of our citizens and our businesses.
So, Senator, it sounds like this resolution would kickstart this effort, if I understand it correctly. So, state agencies, or what process would this resolution kick off once it passes?
Once it passes, it's the legislature's intent that the state agencies and everybody start looking to see how we can go through and better control our own state, our own localities, in order to maximize what our residents can do to be successful and live clean lives without having a heavy-handed bureaucracy in D.C. telling us what to do when they don't know the circumstances in our state and in our cities.
We're speaking with State Senator Wayne Harper about his resolution that is going through the process this year at Utah's Capitol, the state sovereignty amendments. Senator, knowing that, of course, Donald Trump is president in the White House, and with Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy and Elon Musk's cute young son running Doge, do you think that dynamic federally, does that better position these efforts here in the state of Utah, like your resolution, or is it going to have more of an impact potentially?
I think it's going to go through, and with resolutions like this in the states, number of states pushing back and saying, we can go through and do things, we know what to do. I think in D.C. going through and saying, hey, we shouldn't be dictating to states everything. I think that partnership's going to enhance what we can do so that we can live better and have better businesses. I think that partnership is going to work with the Trump administration.
Also in the last minute, I wanted to mention Senator Harper. I believe this is still correct, chair or president of NCSL.
Oh, yeah.
For those that don't know, that's the National Council on State Legislatures. That's sort of a collaborative effort of state legislatures across the country. So from your unique perspective, it sounds like you would know if other states are working on this as well, right, Senator Harper? And it sounds like other states are doing
correct.
this as well.
Yeah, the National Conference of State Legislatures represents every state legislator in the country, and we are working on things together in order to benefit each one of our residents, but more importantly, to return the role and the responsibilities back to the states that has been usurped by the federal government.
Well, it's been wonderful to have you on, Senator Harper. Thank you for joining us today. Next on Inside Sources, you may recall that a point of contention during last fall's election, specifics to Amendments A and D, was a newspaper publishing requirement written in the state constitution. Now there's a proposal to eliminate that requirement. We're going to discuss that new bill after this.
Did you know the Social Security Trust Fund is projected to run out of money in less than 10 years? Yes, 10 years. And according to Barron's, this could cost the average couple $16,500 every year in lost income. Now multiply that by 10 or 20 years, and it could easily add up to hundreds of thousands of dollars. That's why it's critical you have the right strategy to file for Social Security. Learn more in a free report, Your Guide to Filing for Social Security in 2025 and Beyond. It's from Boss Retirement Solutions. If you've saved more than $200,000 and have not filed for Social Security, get your free report now by calling 801-251-1046. 801-251-1046. That number again, 801-251-1046.
Boss Retirement Solutions is not affiliated with the Social Security Administration.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my side softer?
Can I make my side firmer?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. And now save 50% on the new Sleep Number limited edition smart bed. Plus free home delivery. Ends President's Day. Exclusively to Sleep Number store near you. Learn more at sleepnumber.com.
Seems everything costs more these days. Gas, groceries, and when's the last time you checked your wireless bill? Yikes. When it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Here's how to get the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill. Switch to Consumer Cellular. Plans start at just $20 a month, and that's not a short-term promo. Our U.S.-based experts will get you switched and saving in about 20 minutes. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com and start saving today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing.
Are you in search of a fulfilling career where you can work on a team that provides you room to grow, learn, and thrive every day? Focus Engineering and Surveying is looking for individuals to join their team who take pride in the customer service they provide and have a passion for their clients to be successful. No experience in engineering, CAD design, or surveying? No problem. Focus will train those who fit their team culture for rewarding careers in surveying and CAD design. If you can align with the core ideology and the Focus team culture, if you're internally driven, team-oriented, client-focused, and love personal development and growth, Focus Engineering and Surveying is the place for you. Enjoy a positive work environment and paid internship opportunities, plus fantastic benefits like great health care with 80% employer-paid premium and HSA matched up to $200 per month, 401k, vacation, even annual performance bonuses. Start your journey towards your new and fulfilling career. Apply now at FocusUtah.com. That's FocusUtah.com.
Bish's is skipping this year's big RV show for a big reason. It costs each dealer a fortune. And guess who gets stuck with the bill? Yep, you. So skip the big show expense and come to the Bish's RV Better Than Show Pricing on-site event, February 13th through the 15th at Bish's RV of Salt Lake and American Fork. You'll get free admission, free parking, and Better Than Show pricing on our entire inventory at both locations. Not just a few models we hauled to the show. Find pricing starting as low as $139 per month on approved credit and make 0 payments until May OAC. Plus, every remaining new 2024 on the lot is on clearance. And Bish's is the only place to shop the exclusive full lineup of Wayfinder RVs. Start shopping the best deals now at skipthervshow.com. Get free admission to the Better Than Show Pricing on-site event, February 13th through the 15th at Bish's RV in Salt Lake and American Fork, where memories begin. OAC based on 20% down, 8.99% APR for 180 months. Stock numbers 84832, 84308. Subject to prior sale. See delivery details. Deal number 822B426B.
Take advantage of Yes Heating, Air Conditioning, Plumbing, and Electric's $99 or it's free mainline drain clearing special. That's right, $99 or it's free. Feel secure knowing the trusted professionals at Yes guarantee that if we can't clear it, you don't pay for it. Whether it's a small clog or a larger mainline sewer drain issue, the experienced technicians at Yes are ready to solve all of your drain problems. Call now or visit theyesmancan.com for details, terms, and conditions.
Getting help with plumbing repairs is easier than you think. All you have to do is call Any Hour Services or schedule an appointment at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
Dave and Dujanovic.
If you're driving to work or you're driving the kids to a soccer game, we're your in-car companions.
People will come up to me and say, "Oh, I talk to you every day. You don't realize it because I'm talking at the radio, but I talk to you every day."
Listen for Dave and Dujanovic 9 to noon on KSL News Radio.
Inside Sources. Inside Sources on KSL News Radio.
Eye on the Hill 2025. Special coverage on Inside Sources.
Article 13, Section 1 of the Utah Constitution. Rusty, I know you always carry your pocket Constitution around with you.
Of course.
I hope you also have your pocket Utah Constitution.
I do not.
We need to make those. I have not seen any.
Yeah.
That's a good idea for someone out there. Print pocket-sized copies.
Just
of
be careful about the ads you put in it.
Touche. Good point. That's a very funny joke, listeners. I'm not sure I can fill you in on it right now. Anyway, Article 13, Section 1 of the Utah Constitution says that proposed amendments to the state constitution must be published in, I'm going to quote these words, Rusty, because the exact words are very important. Quote, at least one newspaper in every county of the state for 2 months immediately preceding the next election. Okay, so that is what the state constitution currently requires. And this is significant because before the last election in November, the Utah State Supreme Court threw out 2 constitutional amendments that had been placed on the ballot by the Utah legislature, Amendments A and Amendments D. They were tossed because the state did not fulfill that constitutional notice requirement.
Correct. They took that literally.
Yes, a very literal interpretation.
Newspaper means newspaper, like the kind you would store in an underground mine.
Ah, right? Yes.
I'm making another joke.
In
Pennsylvania. Too many jokes. That's right.
Yeah.
But literally a newspaper. It cannot be, according to them, they took that very literally.
Now, what's interesting about this, to set up this conversation a little bit, that notification requirement that requires newspaper, that is in the state constitution, but that is only applicable to ballot amendments initiated by the legislature, right? There's a different requirement for initiatives or referenda that are initiated by citizens. I have run initiatives in the past, and the notification requirement for statewide initiatives is very different. It does not necessarily require that literal notification as in the state constitution. The notification for initiatives and referenda are just in code. They're in statute only. So there's some
a lot of people might not know that. That's different. So if it's coming from the people, there's no newspaper requirement. If it's coming from the legislature, there is a newspaper requirement.
This statute allows more flexibility. It's not the word newspaper. So you can use public notice websites. You have more flexibility in terms of notifying citizens
of
public
sense.
Hearings. There's a little more common sense. I would maybe argue that the notification requirement in the state constitution is just antiquated. It's old. It was maybe inserted back in the day when we couldn't imagine not having newspapers, print hard copy newspapers, Rusty, just like your articles there on the desk.
Yep,
circulated.
You're never going to let this. You're going to make fun of me for always printing stuff.
You're fine. You're just getting old.
All right. That is absolutely true. So as we have it now, there are 2 items coming forward from Representative Anthony Loubet, HJR 10, which would change the Constitution, and then the follow-on bill. I'll ask you about that, HB 481. The change to the Constitution. So these types of bills have to pass by 2/3 of each body and then be signed by the governor. Then it would be forwarded to 2026 ballots, where we would decide if we want to change the Constitution to where he would have it say, instead of newspaper, it would say in a manner provided by statute for 60 calendar days. So basically flipping it over to statute to where they can make adjustments. That, let's say we go back to some world where newspapers are applicable again. Obviously, you can take that into account, but obviously not going to go there. But then the follow-on language in HB 481 sets out those rules as to where. What does it say, as far as you know? Where would these notices be once these things go into place?
Well, I think the idea is to use modern methods to fulfill the notification requirement. There are so many different ways by which Utah citizens could be notified. And so if we just remove that one-word newspaper, given the Supreme Court's literal interpretation, removing that one word in the Constitution and deferring to statute, right? Deferring to the code will allow us, the legislature essentially, to keep that updated with the times, right? As we modernize the ways in which notification can be posted.
Well, you're making fun of my papers. I just found the answer on my paper.
Oh, please, yes.
That I have in front of me. That the legislation would say, okay, we'll go to the same set of requirements that you referenced a bit ago with citizen initiative-led, items where there's some common sense. It's a Class A notice where, public notice website, other means that there, but not necessarily just a newspaper. So I think in all fairness, it would get it on a level playing field,
Yeah.
where whichever it's coming from the legislative side or from the public side, they'd have the same notice requirements. I think that makes total sense.
Yeah, it really does, and we should bring those into conformity. It's a good lesson, Rusty, in, we should not be amending our Constitution very often, and when we do, less is more.
Yeah.
We want to use language that won't become antiquated in just a few years, right? It's a good lesson. Well, to make sure we have this all straight, we want to bring in some audio. During one of our shows at the Utah Capitol this legislative session, Adam Gardner and Greg Skordas spoke with sponsor Representative Anthony Loubet about this bill. Now, this was before the language was published, but this will help us understand, I think, the intent here.
The Supreme Court said this is what the Constitution says, but then we don't really know how that's going to look on compliance, because not all newspapers anymore are being published Monday, 7 days a week. I mean, some
Right.
are even like once a week. And I know for me, I'm an attorney, so sometimes I have to publish legal notices. Well, that goes onto the website of a newspaper, so it doesn't even go in print in those situations
Right.
either. So we're trying to look at what is more applicable now during modern day times. Online notice type sites that people will be able to look and check to see what bills or laws are being changed. In our situation, what constitutional amendments are being proposed and what the language looks like.
So he covered some good ground there. He also talked about how local governments are doing public notices and why he thinks putting some specifics in statute makes sense.
Counties and cities already have notice requirements. There's a Utah public notice website for all government type things. So, I mean, that would be one of the things that we would make sure is included in the language. We're still looking at research of what is currently being done in these different areas, even with different groups, to make sure it's fairly consistent. And also looking at seeing, what things may change in the future, right? I mean, that's one of the advantages of moving this to the statute language is that over time, it's easier to adjust instead of having to run a constitutional amendment every time.
Yeah. Rusty, another piece of this is a follow-on to that I think is so fascinating is, of course, these amendments are being initiated by legislators for placement on the 2026 general election ballot.
Yeah.
We can only amend our Constitution by having the legislature pass by a 2/3 vote in both the House and the Senate for the general election years. We can't do this in an odd year.
No.
And so if this does pass the legislature by a 2/3 vote in both bodies, it goes on the November 2026 general election ballot, Rusty, which means the legislature has to comply with the current existing constitutional notice requirement in order to put this amendment on the ballot.
I didn't even think about that. Yeah.
So to do so, Rusty, they've requested $1.4 million in the budget in order to fulfill the notification requirement, Rusty, because nobody knows how to get it in a newspaper for 2 months when we don't have a statewide newspaper in circulation in that way. So we'll have to figure that out. Rusty, if you want to maybe get some cash, I would start a new newspaper company just in time, just a heads up.
Yeah, just go open up a newspaper. $1.4 million is on the take.
And there's a bunch of amendments, Rusty, so it could be more than
there's
that.
more coming. Trust us.
Speaking of more coming up after the break in the second hour on Inside Sources, let's broaden our scope and discuss a few national items, including inflation and President Trump's approval rating. Stay with us.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Good afternoon. It's 2 o'clock at KSL News Radio. I'm Maria Chaleos. KSL's top local story. A warning for Kia owners. North Salt Lake Police have seen an uptick in the vehicle burglaries targeting Kias. North Salt Lake Police Deputy Chief Mitch Gwilliam says they think thieves are targeting Kias because of online information that makes it look easy.
Anything is frustrating when, an individual can look online and there be some sort of information whether true or not, that you can break into a vehicle and do certain things with a gimmick device that would allow you to steal that vehicle.
Williams says these were all centered around the Foxborough neighborhood. Schools in the Granite District are back to normal after a shooting nearby forced them into secure protocol. 2 adults were taken to the hospital. School officials say there was no connection to those schools in Taylorsville and West Valley City, but they enacted the protocol out of an abundance of caution. Listen for more updates coming up on Jeff Kaplan's Afternoon News. Our top national story this hour from ABC News. President Trump says his counterparts in Russia and Ukraine have agreed to negotiations to end the war between them. He made the announcement on social media. Taking a look at your money, the Dow ending the day down by 225 points, a full 0.5%, sitting at 44,369. S&P down by 17, but the NASDAQ up by 6 points. More wet weather ahead. We'll check the forecast. KSL News Time, 2:01.
Mornings are for recharging.
And they're for starting your day right.
We volunteer to join you in the car. Get news and weather at 102.7 FM during the most important part of your day.
Andy and Amanda, each morning between 5 and 9 on KSL News Radio.
You bought a house. Or maybe you're building one, but it just isn't feeling like home. Not yet. AMC Building Materials has this undeniable knack for transforming a house into a home. Your home. How do they do that? They combine years of exceptional kitchen and bath creations with your ideas. In fact, customer satisfaction is their #1 priority. You know what you want. You know it's not going to be cookie cutter. And this is exactly where AMC shines. AMC delivers exceptional quality, bold-style kitchen and bath designs, along with their exceptional value and a timeline you'll love. Most projects are complete by the elite AMC professional installers in under 10 days. Immerse yourself in the beauty, function, and feel in person at the AMC Building Materials showroom in Salt Lake City. Get directions and schedule your free estimate at amckitchenslc.org. AMC Building Materials, transforming your house into a home. amckitchenslc.org.
It doesn't matter if your only neighbors are wildlife or just wild in general.
I would propose that amendment.
If you work from home, or work is technically at home, every homeowner can save money by getting a ThermWise home energy plan from Enbridge Gas. Discover ways to make your home more energy efficient and apply for rebates if you purchase any energy efficient appliances. Schedule a home energy plan from Enbridge Gas at thermwise.com.
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest, the last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your
windshield wipers? eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying, just beautiful.
Whatever you love, find it on eBay. eBay. Things people love.
Jackson Hewitt makes taxes feel like a yacht rock song.
Breeze, give me my biggest tax refund, please. You, me, and a lifetime accuracy guarantee.
And now get $100 just to try Jackson Hewitt. Does your tax person do that?
Say goodbye to that no guarantee tax guy.
Ready to sail through tax season? Go to Jackson Hewitt and you'll be... Limited time offer for new clients. Participating locations only. Terms at jacksonhewitt.com.
For 72 hours, you can save up to 50% off when you buy tickets to your favorite Tuacahn shows this season. Get the best deals on tickets to Tuacahn's Broadway shows, like Disney's The Little Mermaid, The Wizard of Oz, Newsies, Elf, and $1 Million Quartet. Visit Tuacahn.org now through February 13th. Use promo code 72radio for buy one, get one, up to 50% off Broadway tickets. That's 72 radio at Tuacahn.org.
Traffic and weather together. It's brought to you by Mountain America's limited time balance transfer bonus. Ricky?
We are looking at a good drive on the Valley freeways, including I-15, but crews are working a crash in North Salt Lake. This is southbound on Redwood Road. Near 6 North, you'll see that a right lane is partially blocked to traffic. Looking for the perfect suit for that special occasion? Mr. Mac has the best suit selection for any occasion and get winter clearance pricing today. Visit their 9 convenient locations or MrMac.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
A mix of rain and snow showers tomorrow, 60% chance, 90% chance on Friday, and still a 50% chance on Saturday. Cloudy and 30 degrees. I'm Maria Chaleos from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We are Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Inside Sources.
Inside Sources.
A new presidency, new state leaders, and a new legislative session. Utah's top political experts discuss the day's biggest stories. Only on KSL News Radio.
Welcome back to Inside Sources. I'm your co-host, Rusty Cannon, here with Taylor Morgan. We're going to kick off this second hour shifting back to some national items. Taylor, as you know, inflation, we got a report this morning, continued to rise in January, continuing an increasing trend that kicked back into gear last fall. And even though President Trump was only in office for 11 days in January, the topic is now coming up, who is to blame? While the president isn't always able to control the price of things, obviously we live in a capitalistic society. Trump, he did promise some things to do on day one of his administration, and I do remember him talking about bringing prices down. So what's he doing in response to these rising prices? Have you heard anything, Taylor, lately?
Well, I believe he is blaming Biden.
Okay.
That is tried and true. That seems to be the go-to for White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt. And I think there is perhaps some truth to that. Inflation is tough, Rusty.
Yeah.
I think Trump was probably mistaken to promise prices would drop on day one.
Yeah.
He has been prolific with executive orders and doing a lot of other things that he promised. In fact, Rusty, doing a lot of things that, frankly, just sounded so crazy when he said them on the campaign trail. I didn't think he would actually follow through, but he has.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. He's followed through on much of it.
Inflation is tough because a president can't really directly control or immediately impact the price of goods. A big part of this, we know, is the price of eggs, which has been impacted nationally by the avian flu, right? So there are some things here that are just outside of his control.
Yeah.
But I will say that if inflation continues at this rate for much longer, it is going to become a more significant problem for President Trump.
Yeah, I always get a kick out of presidents either trying to take credit for or in the other side of the coin, dodge blame for inflation when most of the time they have no control over it. But I think I've gotten to the point where, listen, once you become president, you are to blame
for everything.
And you are probably likely to take credit.
You get credit for everything,
and so
right?
it cuts both ways. And so you're just going to have to deal with it. And I think at some point the president is going to have to address this. He's doing a very good job of keeping attention focused on other things, which are also important. But this is one that hits home for many, many people. And I think if it really drags on, this is something that he's going to have to address. For instance, the tariffs, if those do go into effect and they start to have, whether they're actually causing the higher prices or not, that is exactly what will be blamed.
Yeah, that's right.
And he will have to take that on head on and explain to the American people. It'll be interesting to see. The other battle is with economics. A stronger economy, if we want things to kind of move forward in a good, robust manner, generally speaking, that drives interest rates higher, not lower.
Yeah.
If you want lower interest rates, and I know I'm switching to interest rates, but I mean inflation as well. If you want deflation in numbers or deflation or lowering of interest rates, you need a slowing economy. Again, saying a slowing economy.
Right.
Nobody wants that.
Nobody wants a slow.
You don't want that. That's exactly opposite of what you want. So you talk about the Fed lowering rates and all. They're the lowering short-term rates. The long-term rates are what drives. That's the bond market that drives mortgage rates. That's purely an indicator of economic outlook. And if that outlook looks stronger as you push forward some tax cuts and things and I don't know, just more optimism in America, you could have a stronger, hotter economy. That is only going to drive inflation higher.
Yeah, that's true.
And so it's a dynamic that he's going to have to deal with. And if public turns against him on this, that's going to be a bit of an issue. I don't think it's going to happen soon. That's just my personal opinion. But if it's persistent and really nothing is done, he's going to have to answer for it.
Yeah, I really think it's all about setting clear expectations and managing those expectations with American voters. And we have already seen this shift with the communications coming from President Trump and coming out of the White House. Even Vice President J.D. Vance is now trying to kind of temper and manage expectations about consumer prices. He told CBS News last month, quote, "Rome wasn't built in a day." He went on to explain how it's going to take some time for grocery prices and other consumer goods to decline in price. And of course, as we mix in, as you pointed out, the tariffs and some other things happening, I think the clear message out of the White House now is it might be painful for a little bit, but in the end, prices will come down, American manufacturing will grow, the economy will grow as regulations are reduced. All of this, according to the Trump White House, will ultimately lead to lower prices.
Yeah, I think.
But in the long run, we're all dead, Rusty.
That's right. Well, the other thing, too, is in order to get low, I don't know if I can't foresee a world where we see those prices we had, 5 years ago ever coming back. I guess you could have that happen if the economy just tanked, right? But that's my point is we're not going to return to much cheaper food costs unless we have a real crash in the economy. It's just not going to happen. But I guess maybe what we can hope for is a leveling off of the inflation or a cooling. Okay, so if we just don't go down in prices, at least we would stop seeing the increase in prices. I guess that would be the hope. But time will tell. I can see their point of saying, "Hey, Rome wasn't built in a day." I think that was not the smartest campaign promise or thing to claim. It's, "Hey, on day one, I'm going to go in there, flip a switch, and your life will be better." Sounded great on the campaign trail. Absolutely impossible to implement.
Well, and again, to be fair, probably made an unforced error there by setting an impossible, unrealistic expectation of himself, right, Rusty? However, in fairness to President Trump, he has made good on a lot of other promises that he said he would do either on day one or in the first month of his administration. I think it's safe to say, and I think we all see that he has been very busy.
Yes.
Very busy.
Yeah. In fact, we were talking as we were preparing for the show how interesting it is to see. I think he goes in front of the press a couple times a day, if not at least once a day. He's signing executive orders, and you watch these, because I'm a nerd, sometimes I'll watch these things. He'll just engage with the reporters. They'll ask him a question while he's, signing, and then halfway through the signature, he'll stop and answer the question and take another one. You never had that over the last couple of years. It's somewhat refreshing. And so far, I don't think he's really stepped in it too bad as far as what, saying something. We'll talk about approval ratings in the next
matter of time, Rusty.
Yeah, in the next segment where I don't want to preview our segment too quickly, but the next one where we'll talk, I was surprised at how high his approval ratings are at this point.
Yeah.
Right out of the bat.
I think this is the appeal of Donald Trump, right? This is why voters elected him so clearly with a mandate to make change, right?
Yeah.
As a political consultant and someone who manages campaigns and candidates, I try to control the script. I never want the press talking to my person without me controlling that conversation and what questions are asked and having the candidate repeat talking points I gave them, right? I want to control that conversation. With Donald Trump, there's no filter.
You'd last all of 2 seconds.
He has never had a filter. But, Rusty, that is exactly, I think, why people like him, is because they do see this sense of transparency and openness, for better or worse. And I think it's refreshing for voters.
Yeah, and I think that's what everybody, might be excited about is just him being open to taking all these questions and implementing these changes and that transparency. It doesn't always work for you, but I think it puts them in a better light to do that. So coming up next on Inside Sources, we're going to continue to talk about President Trump, and overall it's looking pretty good after the break. Before we go to that break, though, we wanted to talk to Becky with some breaking news. Go ahead, Becky.
Just in from the newsroom here, we've got an alert that Chief Mike Brown of the Salt Lake City Police Department is going to step down at the end of this month and retire. He's been in charge of the department now for about 10 years, started there in 2015. Has led the department through both some really good times and some very troubled times. So this is just breaking to the newsroom. We're gathering some details. We'll have much more for you coming up at 2:30.
Awesome. Thank you so much. All right, next, we'll be back to talk more about President Trump. Overall, it's looking pretty good. More after the break.
Join the smartest conversation in Utah, the team of analysts and political advisors that make up Inside Sources. Get unfiltered analysis of the new administration, the president's cabinet, and Utah's upcoming legislative session. Inside Sources, weekdays from 1 to 3 on KSL News Radio.
At JCW's, we think tipping might be getting a little out of hand. Like when you're asked to tip at the register before you've even been served. Or when you're at the yogurt shop and find yourself serving yourself. And don't even get us started on frosted tips making a comeback. That's why at JCW's, when you pay for a 3rd-pound ranch bacon cheeseburger, that's what you pay. And no one at the register is going to stare longingly at you while you awkwardly maneuver through the tip screen for food you don't even have yet. Honestly, we're just happy to see you at any of our 5 locations in Provo, South Jordan, Lehigh, Harriman, and American Fork. So come on in and enjoy some quality time and great food with family and friends. And we promise, we won't be pushing you for a tip.
Hey, this is Chris with JCW's, and we just want to say thank you, and especially to our loyal customers. We want you to know that at JCW's, your business is all the tip we need. JCW's, quality and a lot of it.
Is your financial advisor offering you up to a 30% upfront bonus? Are they promising you up to 10% growth per year guaranteed for your retirement income? If not, you need a new financial advisor. I'm Jeff Jr., founder of Trajan Wealth. If you plan to retire within the next 10 years, don't wait only to find out it's too late. I've seen hard-working folks like you retire only to be required to go back to work, all because their advisor told them guarantees like these were too good to be true. They're not. That's up to $30,000 up front or up to $10,000 per year on $100,000, all guaranteed for retirement income. Don't work when you're supposed to be retired. And if any financial advisor tells you it's too good to be true, they simply don't have the options we do. Call Trajan today at 801-899-7600.
Annuity guarantees are based on the claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company.
The Management Minute is a service of the MBA program in the John M. Huntsman School of Business at Utah State University. I'm Professor Scott Hammond. Coach Coney Dungy, the first African-American head coach to win a Super Bowl when he led the Indianapolis Colts to win Super Bowl 41, shared a profound question that he asked his team the first time he met them. He said, "Are any of you motivated to do better by a coach who yells and swears?" Well, no one raised their hand. "Then I won't do that," he said. Well, the same thing's true with employees and children and even students. Yelling, shaming, and profanity evoke fear, but not better performance. Learn more about becoming a motivating leader with an MBA from Utah State University. Go to utahstatemba.com. That's utahstatemba.com. I'm Scott Hammond. Hope to see you in one of our classes.
Seems everything costs more these days. Gas, groceries, and when's the last time you checked your wireless bill? Yikes. When it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Here's how to get the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill. Switch to Consumer Cellular. Plans start at just $20 a month, and that's not a short-term promo. Our US-based experts will get you switched and saving in about 20 minutes. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com and start saving today. Plans include $5 credit for auto-pay and e-billing.
Tired of hearing scary radio ads about the IRS? Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000 or $500,000, we have a solution. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS with zero risk to you. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with a BBB. End your tax nightmare today by visiting TRA.com or call 800-275-1728. That's 800-275-1728.
Need a perfect event venue? This is the Place Heritage Park. Ideal for weddings and events featuring 11 venues, beautiful grounds, affordability for any celebration. This is theplaceheritagepark.org.
On the surface, it seemed like just another Cinderella story.
A team that was predicted to finish dead last is now waiting to play the first round of the playoffs.
But Real Salt Lake's 2021 playoff run was so much more than what happened on the pitch.
Our club is burning to the ground.
This is the tip of the iceberg. Making of a Moment, the RSL story, is available now.
I just kind of got chills right now thinking about it.
Follow us at makingamomentpod.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
Inside Sources. Inside Sources on KSL News Radio.
How is President Donald Trump doing in the polls after just about 3 weeks in office? New polling gives us an indication on what voters are happy about, what they're annoyed by, and overall just how they're feeling about the new second administration of President Donald
Wait, are you saying
Trump.
some people might be annoyed?
No, Rusty. I maybe the polling might use a different technical term.
I just had to make a joke because this president, I don't think there's anybody left in the middle on their feelings about this president.
I would argue that Elon Musk is the one that comes to mind when I think annoying.
Okay.
Is that fair?
That's fair.
I mean, come on, just put on a shirt and tie in the Oval Office, Elon. I know you're cool and you're tech and you're awesome.
He could not break the tech
You
vibe.
got to wear a shirt and tie. Maybe not a tie, but just a shirt. You're in the Oval Office, right?
I hear you. Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
Anyway.
but you also have a senator who goes to the Senate floor in a hoodie now, Fetterman. So,
Rusty, if your friends jumped off a cliff, would you? I'm just kidding.
You got me there.
Love you, Mom.
So this was interesting. I was surprised to see these numbers, and maybe because we're so tuned into all the talk every day about what's been going on, all the chaos, as some describe it in D.C. How is President Donald Trump doing so far? And this was a CBS News poll that was released a couple of days ago. I was shocked, frankly, to see how strong the numbers are. The highest overall job rating he has ever had is now 53% approved to 47% disapprove. He never got above 50% in his first term. So already, Taylor, he is sitting at the highest approval rating he's ever had as he's president while he rolls out all these things over the last few weeks.
Yeah. What I really take away from this poll, what I thought was so interesting here, is voters describe Donald Trump, when asked to describe President Donald Trump, these are the top 4 words that voters listed when, that came to mind. Tough, 69% of voters said Donald Trump is tough. 63% said energetic. 60% said focused. 58% said effective. It's so interesting here, Rusty. And as a contrast, I think, to voter perceptions of former President Joe Biden, this, I think, is so interesting.
Yeah, and that gets back to what I said on the previous segment, where every day he is interacting with the press. He's answering questions. It's almost like no question is out of bounds. He'll take any question.
Yeah.
All kinds of different reporters and just any type of subject he's willing to answer. I think that's just a contrast people are appreciating.
Now, he doesn't always give an accurate or a complete answer, Rusty, but
I didn't say that.
He will field and answer any question.
Yeah, true.
Right.
So the other real shocker I saw was when they asked the question, do they approve or disapprove of the Trump administration's program to deport immigrants illegally in the U.S.? 59% approval. I was shocked by that. That is, I think, in political circles, a very high approval number on a policy that is sometimes described as quite controversial.
Yeah.
That is very high approval rating. Where
59%.
Yeah, they and you look at this, they should keep doing what they're doing. That is a very high approval rating, 59%.
That's right. And when voters were asked if they feel like Donald Trump is fulfilling his campaign promises, 70% of voters said that, yes, he is doing what he promised to do in his campaign. Only 30% said they feel like he is doing things different. He is not holding up his campaign promises.
Yeah, another number that was even higher than that. 64% approve sending U.S. troops to the U.S.-Mexico border. That was a surprise to me. The only time some of these statistics flip the other way, one by a little bit, this one had to do with large detention centers while determining who should be deported. That was now 52% oppose, 48% favor. If I understand that question correctly, they were asking them if we should have large detention centers while determining who should be deported.
Yeah.
Looks like that's a little bit underwater.
So to me, this shows that voters are thoughtful and they're thinking through these actions of President Donald Trump. They're not just they love everything Trump and don't have questions about any of it, right? They strongly support in general what he's doing and they think he's tough and effective and energetic. However, they are willing to point out that they don't necessarily agree on some of the details. Another example of this, is when voters were asked about whether or not they approve of Donald Trump's handling of the Israel-Hamas conflict. 54% approve, 46% disapprove. But then the follow-up question, Rusty, is interesting here. When voters are asked about Donald Trump's idea to take over Gaza, only 13% of voters said they thought that was a good idea. 47% said, it's probably a bad idea.
Yeah, that one, I think, had a lot of people's heads spinning when that first came out. I remember talking about that with friends and family. And
yeah.
We thought, is he serious?
He's a big ideas guy.
Yeah.
And listen, as someone who has a lot of bad ideas, Rusty, not all your ideas, even if they're big, not all of them are great, and some don't pan out. But hey, we shouldn't discourage the having of ideas in the first place, right?
Yeah. It's interesting. They also got into some questions about Elon Musk and Doge, what they thought the influence over government operations and spending should be. And if my math is correct, 51%, you add up the allots and some, 51% favor having either a lot or some influence over government operations and spending. So that's a slight majority of approval as well as to what Elon and Doge are doing.
Yeah. Tariffs. Let's talk tariffs. It's obviously that's been a big part of the first 3 weeks of Donald Trump's new administration. In this polling, voters were asked whether they approve or oppose tariffs on specific countries. For tariffs on Mexico, Europe, and Canada, 56, 60, and 62% respectively opposed tariffs on those countries, right?
Interesting.
But when it comes to China, 56% of voters support tariffs on China.
Why do you think China is singled out?
I think China is singled out because they're seen as more of a hostile adversary, militarily wise, economically. So much of stuff is just made in China, and it is made for, a lot of it, frankly, is made by very poor workers in very poor working conditions. I think people have concerns about that. Also, China's manufacturing has eclipsed American manufacturing. There's a lot of politics involved with China, right?
Yeah. Also, what we talked about earlier on a segment in lowering prices and inflation, 66%. This is kind of funny. The poll was taken February 5th through the 7th. He had been in office for 2 weeks at that point, but 66% said that Trump had not done enough on lowering prices, which, okay, that's fine. I don't think he could do anything in 2 weeks, but the point being that is on people's minds. 66% say not enough, 31%.
That number right there, Rusty, that is the one I am highlighting, circling. That is one I'm going to keep my eyes on.
Yeah.
Because as I mentioned previously on the show, at this point in his presidency, it is still easy for Donald Trump and his team to blame former President Biden, right, for inflation. And, of course, we have egg prices that are really contributing to the cost of groceries, consumer goods, right? So this is going to take time, but he has to show that he's had some impact on lowering prices as we go into the year, right?
Yeah, he's going to have to get on top of that. There was another, going back to the Elon Musk and Doge category, they broke it down by Democrats and Republicans. And it's not too surprising, the split there, but here's what's interesting. According to the poll, 30% of Democrats say that Elon Musk and Doge should have a lot or some influence over operations and government spending. I'm surprised. That's almost 1 out of 3 Democrats. I'm really surprised to see that.
Why do you think that is?
I just think that's a bit of a bipartisan issue. Who doesn't want to reduce waste in government? I think everybody does. And that's why I'm confused by the really strong pushback. I don't think it's a hill they should die on.
Yeah.
I just don't.
Yeah.
I mean, to say I'm biased, but
it
just doesn't seem right.
I understand some concerns about the security of personal information and the constitutionality in some cases of what Elon and Doge is doing. Yet at the same time, Rusty, boy, are we finding out about all kinds of waste and
mines.
We've got to do something different in this country if we're ever going to get spending under control, right? So, well, new developments today in the push for an end to the war between Russia and Ukraine. We'll talk all about President Trump's involvement with that after the break.
Good afternoon, 2:30 at KSL. I'm Jeff Kaplan. KSL's top local story this hour is breaking news. Salt Lake City's in the market for a new police chief. Mike Brown has announced that he's stepping down the end of the month. He'll retire after 33 years with the department. He's led the city police force for the past 10 years. Avian flu has now been detected in 3 more counties in the state. That means it's now in 11 of Utah's 29 counties. DWR veterinarian Ginger Stout told Utah's Noon News state officials can't say how long this trend is going to continue.
This is the longest outbreak we've had in the U.S., and since it's spread all over the world, it's really hard to control at this point. So we don't have a great answer to that question.
Stout says if you see dead wild birds, contact wildlife officials, and for goodness sake, don't touch them. Our top national story this hour from ABC News. A day after Russia's release of American Mark Fogel in a prisoner swap, the White House says 1 American and others detained in Belarus have been released. President Trump's special envoy, Steve Witkoff, says this deal came together quickly, and he's emphasizing that the Russians were, quote, very helpful and very accommodating. Your money at this moment, the Dow is down 225 today. And coming up, snow is on the way. KSL weather is coming up next. Stay here. KSL News Time, 2:31.
A reminder about the simplest way to get updated for your day.
Hit your KSL preset when you jump in the car, and we'll take care of the rest.
Hear key news updates and traffic reports.
Andy and Amanda from 5 to 9 in your car.
KSL News Radio at 102.7 FM.
Basketball season is back. With Jazz Plus, you can watch games live from your TV, computer, tablet, or phone. So don't miss any of the action when you're at home or away. Can't get enough of your favorite team? Go behind the scenes and see what the team is up to on and off the court. With flexible plans, you can choose what works for you. From full season to monthly, or just pick a single game you want to watch. Sign up and subscribe today at UtahJazzPlus.com.
Les Olson IT is now a Ricoh Graphic Arts and Production Systems dealer. Ricoh chose Les Olson because of our reputation for superior service and national recognition. Les Olson IT chose Ricoh Graphics because they're the best value compared to other commercial-grade printers. Ricoh excels in high volume, high speed, high resolution, and offers an exciting 5th color. Learn more at lesolson.com.
Les Olson IT.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my side softer?
Can I make my side firmer? Can we sleep cooler? Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. And now save 50% on the new Sleep Number limited edition smart bed. Plus free home delivery. Ends President's Day. Exclusively at a Sleep Number store near you. Learn more at sleepnumber.com.
Seems everything costs more these days. Gas, groceries, and when's the last time you checked your wireless bill? Yikes. When it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Here's how to get the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill. Switch to Consumer Cellular. Plans start at just $20 a month, and that's not a short-term promo. Our US-based experts will get you switched and saving in about 20 minutes. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com and start saving today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing.
Camping season is right around the corner, and Motorsportsland is throwing a huge RV party in the KZ RV Megatent at our Mill Creek store. Come and check out hundreds of RVs, accessories, and exciting activities including kids' movie nights, RV seminars, on-site radio events, yard games, food trucks, a live performance with Ryan Shoup and the Rubber Band, and did we mention over $30,000 in prizes? Event sponsors include KZRV, Owned by Cummins, Suburban RV Appliances, Lion Energy, Lippert, Utah Big Game Outfitters, Equalizer, and many more. Free admission, free seminars, and free activities. Buy your RV with us this week and we'll beat any local dealer price or give you $100 cash. Check out motorsportsland.com for event schedule and guarantee details. Adventure awaits at Motorsportsland's Megatent RV event.
Let Motorsportsland help you get away.
4001 South State.
Traffic and weather together brought to you by Mountain America's limited time balance transfer bonus. Here's Ricky Meese.
The crash in North Salt Lake, southbound Redwood Road at about 800 North has just cleared. All lanes of traffic are now open, and that means we are back to a crash-free commute. Good speeds on the Valley freeways. Advanced Window Products, factory direct affordable windows. Call today, they're on their way. Financing available. Save now, pay later. AdvancedWindows.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL weather, snow tomorrow, half an inch. Rain and snow Thursday night. It'll be rain on Friday. And right now, 30 degrees in Salt Lake City at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. We're streaming live at KSLNewsRadio.com. It's Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Inside Sources. Inside Sources. A new presidency, new state leaders, and a new legislative session. Utah's top political experts discuss the day's biggest stories. Only on KSL News Radio.
Welcome back to Inside Sources. I'm your co-host, Rusty Cannon, here with Taylor Morgan. Taylor, as you know, President Trump has said he and Russian Vladimir Putin would be speaking, and after speaking for 90 minutes.
90 minutes?
Yes, 90 minutes. They've agreed to work towards an end to the war between Ukraine and Russia. This comes as Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth says Ukraine should lower their expectations of getting land back. We'll talk about that in a minute. Let's begin with an update on the conversation from ABC News White House correspondent Karen Travers.
President Trump says he spoke to Russian President Vladimir Putin Wednesday, and they agreed to immediately begin negotiations to end the war in Ukraine. The president said he and Putin agreed to work together very closely, including visiting each other's nations. He said he would be calling President Zelensky of Ukraine to brief him on the call. The president said Secretary of State Marco Rubio, Director of the CIA John Ratcliffe, National Security Advisor Mike Waltz, and Special Envoy Steve Witkoff would lead the negotiations on the U.S. side. Karen Travers, ABC News, the White House.
Wow, Taylor. So as we were talking about in the last segment, it seems like we're always talking about something new here with this administration. This, after we've gone through all these other things with the budget here domestically and all, we now turn to something very important. Sounds like things are happening.
Things are happening. And, Rusty, I think it's significant. You mentioned something that the Biden administration hadn't met or talked to Vladimir Putin in 3 years?
Well, yes. The former President Biden, had not talked to Putin, according to the news story we just read, in the last 3 years. Let's listen to another soundbite we have of President talking about making plans with Putin.
I can just tell you we've made a lot of progress. This should have been done by Biden, not by me, because this has been going on for now a long time, years. And it should have been done by Biden. Just like the young gentleman that I brought home yesterday after 2 weeks. We worked on it for 2 weeks. He was a fine man, and he was in there for 3.5, almost 4 years, and they weren't able to do a thing, and I got him out.
Wow, Taylor. So as you can see, more things happening very quickly. It sounds like they've made some progress or intend to make some progress pretty quickly on this subject.
Yeah, and President Trump, of course, they're referring to Mark Fogel, an American teacher who had been held in Russia for almost 4 years. He back in the U.S. after being released. Mark Fogel visited the White House this morning, met with President Donald Trump, draped an American flag over his shoulders. A great moment there. Clearly, we are seeing results. Now, when President Trump was asked about the details of the deal that got Mark Fogel released, he said it was a fair deal. It was a fair trade. Great deal. He didn't say more. So, questions there. I think interesting. What may come out is
about who he traded,
about how that trade or how we got Mark Fogel home. I don't know for sure that we necessarily traded anyone or anything, but there was a deal made. We don't know the details.
Got it. Well, so as we mentioned, they talked for 90 minutes. According to the president, he said, quote, "We discussed Ukraine, the Middle East, energy, AI, the power of the dollar, and various other subjects. And we agreed to work together very closely, including visiting each other's nations. We've also agreed to have our respective teams start negotiations immediately, and we'll begin by calling President Zelensky of Ukraine," which we mentioned he already did. In fact, while we're doing this segment, he's still talking to the press. And more of this transparency, maybe more headlines to come out, but this is what we know so far. This comes on the heels as well. I believe it was yesterday or today, Hegseth is in Europe, I think, speaking about Ukraine. What has he said about Ukraine?
Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth earlier today, called Ukraine's desire to recover all of its territory that it has lost to Russia since 2014, and, quote, unrealistic objective, end quote. He went on to pledge that the Trump administration will pursue peace negotiations to end the war in Ukraine, and also that we would have potentially a hand in shaping that deal, that peace agreement, starting right now.
Yeah, so he mentioned chasing this illusionary goal will only prolong the war and cause more pain and suffering. That's interesting. We'll have to maybe get on somebody that has a little bit more expertise in this area, but that seems like a touchy subject to where now we have American officials saying, hey, it's unrealistic for you to want to claim back all of the territory you've lost since 2014. I think that might rustle some feathers, but as we know, this is moving forward pretty quickly.
Yeah, in addition to the comments about the Ukrainian territory, that is huge. That is a significant statement. Essentially telling Ukraine, this is the Defense Secretary of the United States with the backing of the president.
Yeah,
telling Ukraine that, look, you're just not going to get all that territory back. Yeah. I think that is really significant, Rusty. I have not yet seen a response to that from Ukrainian president, from allies. I think that is a really significant statement, right?
Yeah, I don't think it'd come as a surprise to many after what you saw in Congress on the last go-around about aid to Ukraine. I think the American people and the elected officials through them are getting, I don't want to say tired of, but also wary of continuing just down the same paths.
Yeah.
According to news reports, these comments from Hegseth, they're unlikely to surprise European allies. That many have worried that the Trump administration would go down this road. But his message, he was surrounded by defense ministers and military officers from other countries. That marks a change, a departure from where the Biden administration was, which, as you mentioned early in the segment, I was surprised until we read about this story that he had not spoken to Putin in 3 years.
Yeah.
That's just surprising.
Yeah, especially given what has been going on in Ukraine, right? Secretary Hegseth also said that Ukraine should not be expected to gain admission to NATO. That's another, I think, significant statement made. In years past, let's put this in context. In years past, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has been clear. He has said that Ukraine will fight and not stop fighting until they have every inch of land that has been seized by Russian forces. That is directly in contrast with what Secretary Pete Hegseth said today.
Well, so also the president just now talked about what everyone's desire is in Ukraine.
President Zelensky wants peace, and I want peace. I just want to see people stop getting killed. We're very far away from that particular war, but that's a vicious war. Probably 1.5 million soldiers killed in a short period of time. I've never seen anything. I have pictures that are, you wouldn't believe it. You wouldn't believe what you have to look at. Young, beautiful soldiers that are just being decimated. And it would be nice to end it immediately. But we had a very good talk with, people didn't really know what President Putin's thoughts were, but I think I can say with great confidence he wants to see it ended also. That's good.
So, Taylor, do you think Americans are going to see this as a good development or something where we're caving in to someone like Russia?
That's a really good question, Rusty. I think I think everybody does want peace.
Yeah.
I'm also very sensitive to the Ukrainians. Mm-hmm. Russia was the aggressor in this conflict. America our support for Ukraine has not really been as resolute, I think, as it could have been. I think there's been a lot of questions about that. But clearly, we need to engage with Vladimir Putin in Russia. I don't think anyone is defending him or saying he's not a total thug, a dictator, and perhaps a war criminal, but he is still the leader of one of the world's most powerful countries. We need to engage, and if we can bring a resolution to this and bring peace to the region, I think that is a good outcome.
Yeah, I like that word you use, resolution. That's what I think was lacking over the last few years. Is just what do we believe the end game is? This is just going to go on forever at a stalemate, if you want to put it that way, to where there's really no resolution. Whether we like the outcome or not, at least this is moving towards some sort of resolution. It is very controversial, obviously, but hopefully this will come to a good resolution and peace, as he talked about. I think he's right. Everybody would want peace. Yeah. The question is who's willing to give up what on that. So lots to talk about. All right, in our final segment on today's Inside Sources, drama continues over the renaming of the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America. We'll talk about that next.
Your CPA should be the first person you think of to help you get the most from your finances. Along with extensive tax expertise, CPAs also provide personal financial planning, business growth strategies, and general accounting services. Your CPA can make valuable tax-saving suggestions that a software program can't anticipate. For more than 100 years, the Utah Association of CPAs has served the professional community as the go-to resource for education, training, and advocacy. As trusted advisors, you can expect the best when it comes to CPAs leading you to financial wellness. Hire a CPA for making the most out of your money. Go to uacpa.org. uacpa.org to find a CPA that's right for you. That's uacpa.org. Proud sponsor of the Money Making Sense podcast with Heather Kelly. Download wherever you listen to podcasts.
At the UPS Store, we know being a small business owner means holiday time is still go time. Still get those orders shipped time. And still re-up on stamps and supplies time. That's why this upcoming holiday, while others close up shop, we'll be open. And happy to help you keep being unstoppable. Come into your local store today. Most locations are independently owned. Product, services, pricing, and hours of operation may vary. See Center for details. The UPS Store. Be unstoppable.
Febreze. It's a classic odor tale. You fried fish for dinner, cleaned up, but the smell is still in the house. And the neighbors are coming over for game night. They're on their way. And then you spray Febreze Air Mist. Febreze Air starts working instantly to fight even your toughest odors, so you go from fish to fresh like that. Now, all you have to worry about is Pam cheating at charades.
Breathe happy, Febreze, la 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 la. If you find yourself avoiding family photos or feeling self-conscious among friends because of your smile, you're not alone. Many people face these challenges due to missing or broken teeth or painful dentures. But there's hope. Rediscover the joy of a full, healthy smile with Stubbs Dental Implant Center, Utah's Best of State winner. At Stubbs Dental, they deeply understand the emotional impact of missing teeth. It's not just about your smile. It's about feeling confident and embracing life fully. Their team of experts transform lives with dental implants, one beautiful smile at a time. Picture yourself not just looking, but feeling your best, confidently participating in family photos and laughing freely with friends. Join the thousands of people who have trusted Stubbs Dental for their dental implants, rediscovering not just their smile, but their self-confidence. And the best part, finding out if you're eligible for dental implants is easy. Visit StubbsDental.com, and in just 60 seconds, you could be on your way to a life-changing smile. That's StubbsDental.com.
Bish's is skipping this year's big RV show for a big reason. It costs each dealer a fortune, and guess who gets stuck with the bill? Yep, you. So skip the big show expense and come to the Bish's RV Better Than Show Pricing on-site event, February 13th through the 15th at Bish's RV of Salt Lake and American Fork. You'll get free admission, free parking, and Better Than Show pricing on our entire inventory at both locations. Not just a few models we hauled to the show. Find pricing starting as low as $139 per month on approved credit, and make 0 payments until May OAC. Plus, every remaining new 2024 on the lot is on clearance. And Bish's is the only place to shop the exclusive full lineup of Wayfinder RVs. Start shopping the best deals now at skipthervshow.com. Get free admission to the Better Than Show Pricing on-site event, February 13th through the 15th at Bish's RV in Salt Lake and American Fork, where memories begin. OAC, based on 20% down, 8.99% APR for 180 months. Stock numbers 84832, 84308. Subject to prior sale. See delivery details. Deal number 822B426B.
Transform your home into a haven this Valentine's Day with Zero-Res carpet and air duct cleaning. Nothing says I care like a pristine living space. Did you know your carpets can trap up to 40 pounds of dust and debris each year? It's time to refresh your home. Zero-Res uses a patented cleaning process without harsh chemicals, ensuring your carpets stay cleaner longer and are safe for both kids and pets. Plus, with faster dry times, your carpets will be ready in hours, not days. Right now, get 3 rooms of carpet cleaned for only $109. And if you mention KSL News Radio, you'll get a hallway clean for free. Looking to go beyond carpets? Zero Res offers upholstery, tile, and even air duct cleaning. And with their Gotta Love It guarantee, if you're not satisfied, they'll re-clean the area for free within 30 days. Let Zero Res help you fall in love with your home all over again. Call 866-ZERO-RES or online at zerores.com to schedule your appointment today.
Any Hour Services can help you make sure your furnace keeps you warm this winter. Whether you need a tune-up, a repair, or a second opinion about replacing it, call Any Hour Services or visit anyhourservices.com.
Inside Sources on KSL News Radio.
Welcome back to Inside Sources. I'm your co-host, Rusty Cannon, here with Taylor Morgan. Taylor, in our last segment, I wanted to describe a situation for you. Imagine a car driving down the road nice and straight. It's got a lot of good momentum, doing good things.
Is this an autonomous self-driving car,
No.
Rusty? Is this a Tesla?
No, it is driven by the President of the United States, in my analogy.
Okay.
So stay with me.
Okay.
So driving the road down the car, then a fly makes through the crack in the window and comes in, and you start swatting at the fly. You just pay so much attention to swatting the fly, you drive the car off the road into the ditch. As an example, the President of the United States, barring an AP reporter from the Oval Office because the AP style guide has not adopted the Gulf of America instead of the Gulf of Mexico. Curious to get your thoughts. What do you think of this whole hubbub about the Gulf of America?
Well, Rusty, I think it's a lot of fun. It is also silly. I have another maybe distraction metaphor that comes to my mind because back in college when I was maybe having a hard time settling down and getting serious about some life choices, I had a ecclesiastical leader who pulled me aside and sat me down and told me to stop chasing seagulls on the beach.
Okay.
So there's another metaphor for you. But I think what we're talking about here are some of the more eyebrow-raising moments or statements coming out from President Donald Trump. Of course, the renaming the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America. If you go on Google Maps, Rusty.
Yeah,
I
have
believe,
not yet.
I believe the name has changed there. You can pull it up on the computer and verify that.
Yeah, I should do that.
Another one, of course, is Greenland, changing the name of Greenland to Red, White, and Blue Land. And
well, that's a proposal.
Taking control.
Let's hope that doesn't go too far forward.
Sure, that's right. I guess we would need Greenland to agree to that. Is that what you're saying, Rusty?
Maybe.
Also, let's not forget about the Panama Canal. Donald Trump very early on said that we would take back the Panama Canal. Well, I don't know that we could do that, but as an outcome of that at the time seemingly wacky statement, American vessels are no longer being charged the full fee to use the Panama Canal. So that's not the worst outcome.
No, that's good. In fact, I pulled up Google Maps, and guess what it says? The Gulf of America.
Okay, there we go.
So the Google reporter will get into the press corps. It looks like.
Will
That was a bad analogy,
will
but you
the
get what I
AP
mean.
style guide
Yes.
update the name of the Gulf?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so things are changing. I guess this to the point. I don't want to poke too much fun at it, but my point being, I think there are issues to really drive forward, and there's some that maybe you just don't. And I thought maybe this would lose its appeal fairly quickly. But, you have a point. It's made some progress. You have maps that we're looking at now. I'm looking at one right now. It says Gulf of America. He was doing a presser on the airplane on the way to the Super Bowl, flying over the Gulf of America.
Yeah.
It is substantive change, and you can't blame him for being determined about it. I just wonder or worry, I guess, that sometimes these things can be swatting at flies and cause a distraction.
Yeah. Well, it's been named the Gulf of Mexico for 400 years, Rusty. It also does border Mexico. However, listen, it does seem silly and a little bit crazy, right? But at the end of the day, this is the essence of Donald Trump politics. Is it not?
No, it is. You're exactly right. Tell a little bit more what you mean there, sort of the overall vibe.
Well, I think Donald Trump really stood out first in the field of Republican presidential candidates, right, back in 2015, right? He really stood out in that field just because he was just almost the train wreck that the media could not look away from. He was constantly saying something that was perceived as kind of crazy at the time.
Yeah.
Like these big, bold, rash, wacky claims and statements. And we know that not all of them are 100% grounded in fact or truth, but he's thinking big. He always has. And for that reason, he has really, I think, stood out to voters, Rusty. And I'll give him a hard time about it, and I think it's fair. But I also think it was refreshing for voters. The transparency, the fact that Donald Trump, back then in the first presidential campaign, in the first administration, the way that he would directly communicate with voters, stream of consciousness on Twitter at the time, or whatever platform, very regularly saying some things that were, a little bit rash or a little bit inflammatory, but he was communicating directly and honestly, and I think voters loved it.
I think you're right. And the other thing I've noticed is this is a different President Trump. In my opinion, you see a much different president in these 4 years going forward versus the first 4.
Yeah.
Case in point, much more disciplined on who he is surrounding himself with and the things that he is doing.
He has an incredible team, Rusty. And I know, of course, that there have been some questions about many of his nominees. They have gone through the process, right? Whether it's RFK Jr. or Pete Hegseth, Tulsi Gabbard.
Yeah.
The Senate has voted to confirm.
Yeah.
They have been vetted. They have had their day. But Donald, with Susie Wiles as the chief of staff, Donald Trump's new team, this team they're getting after it.
Yeah, I think, and I see a more relaxed president. I see a more comfortable president. Case in point, we just watched on the screens a presser he did as soon as the swearing in was done for Tulsi Gabbard and took more questions. He virtually takes questions several times a day. He's always open to talk about it. These are very serious subjects, but I do say he is enjoying it. I think he's comfortable in it.
Yeah.
He's a veteran of this process now, and I think that's coming through. And I think people can appreciate the action, right? I know many disagree with the direction of the action, but it is action, which was, let's be blunt, not happening in the previous administration at all.
Yeah.
It was just sort of a wandering. And there is direction in every single day. Things are coming out, and I think he's enjoying it.
Yeah, definitely. And I think voters are liking it, clearly, from the polling that we referenced and went through previously on the show. Voters are liking Donald Trump. Rusty, it brings to mind a former Republican president who became beloved in the Republican Party because of his communication skills.
Who's that?
Of course, Ronald Reagan.
Yeah.
Nicknamed the Great Communicator.
Yeah.
And I'm not necessarily trying to equate President Donald Trump with Ronald Reagan in terms of politics or policies or ideology, but voters love when a president communicates to them directly and transparently and regularly.
I think you're right. Have you ever gone back and watched, I know it's on YouTube, the speech that Reagan gave, A Time for Choosing?
Yes.
Have you seen that?
Yeah, it's one of my favorites.
That's a game changer. I'd encourage anybody, if they've never watched it and they're interested in politics or anything in that realm. I don't know if it was true that he had that memorized, but it was a spotless speech that he gave. And it was so good and so well-spoken and all that. That is the way to do a speech. I remember that. I just going on a bit of a tangent, but when you mentioned Reagan, I remember that. I remember
you are
that.
a Utah Republican, Rusty, so any mention of the name Ronald Reagan, and it sends you into a tizzy.
That's right. We get bonus points for that. It'll be interesting to see how long this honeymoon period lasts for the president. I don't know what your thoughts are. Do they typically last that long, or do you think this starts to fade?
Well, voters clearly right now are very happy with Donald Trump's action. Yeah. They see him as effective, energetic, tough. They're very happy in general with his big ideas, big policies so far, even deportations. Voters, 59% of voters approve of that.
I was shocked at that.
But that 66% number that voters are still concerned about inflation, that is going to become even more of a problem for President Trump. Even if he's really getting things done or has a lot of fun, big ideas, is renaming things here and there, people just want inflation to come down, and they want interest rates to come down.
They want action. He'll be curious to see if the United States Congress messes things up as they go through.
One body known for its action.
That's right. Thank you for joining us today. Leah Murray and guest host Thomas Wright, our good friend, will take the reins tomorrow. So join them for new Inside Sources beginning at 1 p.m. Next up, Jeff Kaplan's Afternoon News.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Good afternoon, 3 o'clock at KSL News Radio. I'm Jeff Kaplan, 34 degrees. We're just over the freezing mark. KSL's top story, everything's back to normal at